Hey everyone, and welcome to From Waterloo to the Alamo. I'm your host, Traci Wilson, and today we have McCall Flores with Sensible Redesign. McCall, thanks for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to discuss the realm of interior design with you today and answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think it'll be really cool to highlight your company, right? So, Sensible Redesign started in 2012 by your mom, Tara. I know she competed on HGTV, Design Star, and her main goal with the company was to be able to help people on a sensible budget, right? To be able to live that incredible lifestyle, but within their realm of whatever budget they had. And now this business has just turned into this incredible family venture. You guys are probably one of the largest staging design firms in the state of Texas, which is such a huge accomplishment. And you guys offer so many different levels of services. So we're going to talk through that. But why don't we talk a little bit about Sensible Redesign and kind of how the company has progressed. You guys have 2 locations, is that correct?
Yes, we do. So our main branch right now is in the Houston, Spring Houston area. So we have we just moved into a 10,000 square feet warehouse up there. So that has been just a huge jump for us as a company. And then we also have a warehouse here in the Austin area, up in the Pflugerville area. So we can kind of service all of Austin area, as well as, we even go far as Waco, Belton. So, we travel, which is fun. But that's kind of where our main, points of contact are. And then as far as just as a company as a whole of how we've kind of grown, if you want me to go more into that. So my mom kind of started the company here in the Georgetown area. And she really was just doing more occupied staging. So for those of you who don't know what that is, occupied staging is just kind of going into people's homes and making it feel better with their items that they have. My mom always said it best is taking what you have and making it better. So that was her main goal with the staging company. She had a few little staging storage units, and she would kind of just do it out of the love of her heart because it was just something she enjoyed.
So it wasn't necessarily to sell a home. It was, hey, I'm going to help you take what you have, basically take that, put her interior design hat on.
Yes, exactly. So she would do everything from that, but then she also had a few agents that she loved, and she would go in and do them favors and help them out with those things. So my sister and my brother-in-law, which are the people that are in the Houston area, they kind of stepped it up a level with doing more only vacants. We also still offer that occupied staging, but just after, they've grown so much up there, it's really just taken off, and it's kind of become a new thing with, we've grown. I mean, right now we're staging, I think we have 150 plus homes out just right now. So there's just been a huge improvement with the labor. Now we have, it used to just be my mom and, a random mover. And now it's come to where we have almost 14 employees on right now, which is just a huge accomplishment for us. So
yeah. And that's incredible. I know, I think one of the stats I was reading, which is probably old, but now it's probably over 600-700 homes you guys have staged if you count your current inventory. But you guys stage anything from 500,000 plus, right? So you can go up to 10, 20 million. And y'all's design services, which I think is very cool. It isn't just limited to, staging if you're selling a home and people are living in it, right? And occupied staging, vacant staging. You guys also do like Airbnb, vacation rental design. I mean, you guys do a full service, which is actually really great because not a lot of people offer that. Kind of y'all are a little bit of a jack of all trades when it comes to staging and design.
Yeah, we are. So that's another great point is we also do redesigns, we do remodels. So we kind of do the full realm of everything. I'm actually working on a project right now, which is a remodel / redesign. So I'm going in there and I'm telling them what cabinets to pick, what colors to paint the walls, hardware, down to flooring and backsplash and all the things. And then after that, once we have that full scope of what the true design of the home is, then we come in and we do the furnishings and the accessories and the art. So yeah, I mean, we do every project from start to finish. And then as well as, like you said, Airbnbs, we get it fully ready for those people. So we are coming in, we're doing blenders, we're doing silverware, we're doing sheets, change of sheets, all of those things.
And how, I mean, we can talk a little bit roughly, because I know pricing changes depending on the project and the size of the home and how many rooms you're staging, yada, yada, yada. But I think I guess for a vacant home staging, it can be anywhere from $2,200, $2,300 for 60 days. So, I mean, that to me is super competitive. I mean, great. I don't know what that square footage would be or how many rooms that's entailing. I don't know if that's 3 bedrooms, one main living area, but that to me is an incredible price because, a lot of these stagers will say, oh, it's $4,000 for 60 days, depending on what you want. But I guess the benefit you guys have is that y'all are a larger scale company, so you're able to probably offer a little bit more competitive pricing.
Yeah, and another reason how we can offer that competitive pricing is we have a great vendor network. So we are getting, amazing pricing on the furniture in our inventory that we can, put out, and we can get it relatively quickly. So we're not really saying no to jobs right now just because we do have such a quick turnaround, and that is something that makes our staging company a little bit easier to work with, is because sometimes some stagers won't have all their inventory that they need for that home right away, so they have to push it or they have to say no. Whereas we can kind of, I have people calling me, sometimes it gets a little busy where it's like, hey, we need to push this out like maybe 2 weeks, but typically, I mean, we're saying yes to everything, and we can be in there like next week. So that's also a good point on that with the inventory.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about why staging is so important. I know in the real estate world, from a real estate perspective, we used to say, yes, staging is super important when you have either a funky house or a funky floor plan, or the seller is not willing to paint this or do that. And so you're going to have to work with what you have to give people an idea of what it's going to look like. Because a lot of people don't have vision, right?
Right.
But I think what we're seeing more and more these days, even if you have a beautiful home, beautiful new build that's vacant, everything is gorgeous, high-end fixtures, beautiful wood floors, we are still seeing the importance of staging in a home like that in the market that we're in. So can you talk a little bit to what those statistics you're seeing in staging homes, whether they're funky or brand new build with all high-end fixtures?
Yeah, absolutely. So the stats right now are actually saying that a staged home is selling 90% quicker, which is crazy. But is why I love my job, because I get to go in there and make these homes beautiful. I mean, Jana, literally, we staged her a home a few weeks ago and it sold in 5 days. Whereas if they hadn't have staged that home, it probably would have been sitting. So with that particular home that we staged for Jana, the home was a little bit dated, but the homeowners were willing to do what it took. So they painted the whole entire home. There was some, iffy colors. I came in there and I suggested painting, the whole entire home the same color. That way it's kind of a blank canvas for the new buyers.
So you also come in, not just as a stager, you're like, hey, included in, let's say it was $2,200 to stage this home, right? Let's throw out a ballpark number to stage the bottom floor.
Right.
Say that's an office, a bedroom, a living, a kitchen, and patio, whatever.
Yep.
You also come in and say, hey, I really think this is a funky wall color. Here are the so you also will give your design expertise included in that price.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've walked into a home where there's a purple wall and I'm like, y'all, come on. Like, we have to paint this because, not that someone, but some people are picky. We do have a lot of competition out there. So someone might be walk in there and be like, oh, you know what? I don't love this wall color. And then they just never come back.
And will you say, I have a great guy?
Yes.
Here he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So we have painters on deck that we can send out to, our real estate agents and our customers or clients. But so it comes with the territory of also those staging. So I don't want people ripping up their floors and doing a full remodel. Staging, we're trying to sell the home as is, but there's a few cosmetic things we can do to get it for top dollar.
Right.
So that comes with, sometimes I tell them to paint if the paint is bad. And then we also come in. So for example, that home had some darker flooring, had more of the 2008 tiling and things like that. And we come in and we bring very large rugs to, show how big the space was, first of all, but also brighten it up. So a lot of our staging furniture is white, and then we plan with colors and things like that to make the home feel very updated. because everyone's scrolling on Zillow right now, you know, like everything is online impression first.
Yes.
So
you have what, 2-3 seconds to capture someone's attention about a property.
exactly. And so I think with the way our world is going, staging is even more important. So that's another reason why I always suggest it. Because I mean, if you go and you're scrolling on Zillow right now, you're gonna be able to tell which homes are staged, and a lot of those people are wanting to go see that home versus a home where they see a toothbrush on the counter. So
Yeah, no, for sure. And are people able to buy, let's say someone comes in and says, look, I want to pack a bag. This is going to be a second home, or I'm selling my home furnished, whatever the situation may be. Are they able to buy the furniture that's in the property?
absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
We do that all the time. So, and even if it's just, hey, I love that coffee table, I want to buy that coffee table, or which is also a great thing, you know, because even if it's an occupied stage, some people are still asking for the homeowner's specific items whenever they walk in. But that's what's great about the staging. It's because no one's attached to it, and they can just purchase it as is. And then sometimes it's a little bit more discounted because it is staging inventory. So
whether it's been used.
Yeah, but I mean, we take great care of our stuff. So
well, yeah. And usually in a staged home, if no one's living in it, it's not like it's being sat on consistently.
Exactly.
Or, you know, it's just like if you bought it off the floor in the furniture store.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same concept.
Hello, my name is McCall Flores, General Sales Manager at Mac Haik Ford Lincoln, your #1 Ford dealer in Central Texas. We are here for all your automotive needs: Ford, Lincoln, pre-owns, all year makes and model. If we don't have it, we'll find it. You won't find anybody that will work as hard as I will to earn your business. Thank you for making us #1 in Austin, Texas.
Hey, I'm Brandon Sparks with Nautilus Lending, based right here in Central Texas. We're a full-service mortgage operation and brokerage, serving Greater Texas as well as Florida and Tennessee. One of the greatest things about our shop is our ability to facilitate creative financing. What that means is that anything legally possible, we can get it funded. You want to find out more? Reach out to us, www.nautiluslending.com. That's www.nautiluslending.com.
Okay, so now that we've really talked about y'all's company, let's talk about outside of what makes you guys different, which is already, it seems like quite a bit, offering your design services when you stage your property, able to purchase the products, you know, that they see in the home, and having a quicker turnaround and I would say definitely more competitive pricing. What I know that you guys, what is really your vision for the company? What is something that you want to offer to your clients and get out to the world that sets you guys apart from other staging companies?
Yeah, that's a good question. My sister always kind of says it the best. We want to take over the world with staging. I don't know. We love what we do. I don't know if we necessarily have. Obviously, we're trying to grow, and we have grown rapidly, and we're kind of going through some growing pains in the best way right now, because we are getting so much attention, which is like everything we wanted. But you know, there also is the business side of that,
right?
And so, I don't know. I think we're really just taking it day by day and just seeing where it goes. I mean, we are very spiritual, and we feel like God has kind of just pushed us to do this, and I don't know, there's just so much growth with our company already, and I don't even know, like we couldn't even, like last year, we couldn't have even pictured ourselves where we are now. Yeah. And so we don't really know what's to come next, but we're kind of willing to take it on. I would say more of the redesign portion of it, I would like to see grow more, especially in the Austin area. We've kind of just gotten into that a little bit with, you know, I've had, I think, 5 or 6 redesigns just this year, which have been really fun. But I think kind of growing that more in the Austin branch as well as the Airbnb side of it, because mainly we're doing vacant and occupied staging and then a few redesign works and remodels here. Haven't had very much Airbnb business. Houston is booming with that. So they're right next to Galveston as well. So they're going to the Galveston area and kind of doing a lot of those Airbnb type properties. So I would say the goal in Austin area is to kind of get that more side of the business, you know, booming for sure.
For sure. Well, how do you handle that family dynamic, right? Of y'all have, you know, leadership is a family run business, right? So how do y'all keep brand cohesion between the two markets and handle the decision-making process?
Yeah, so I will give all props to my brother-in-law, Austin, on that. He is just a phenomenal businessman. he keeps us afloat. He keeps everyone cordial. And we're really good at disconnecting business from family life too. That's kind of our number one priority. It always has been. So, whenever we're at Christmas or Thanksgiving, we don't talk about work. We're talking about family, and anytime we're really talking about work is during business hours. So that's really been helpful. We have a pretty good work-life balance as far as family and business.
Amazing. Well, tell me a little bit about how you guys, I feel like, how your mom founded this company is, a sensible budget, right? Which clearly everything raises, prices raise, et cetera, et cetera. But how do you balance that aesthetic innovation when it comes to design while also being super cost conscious on how you're helping your clients? Because I'll give you a perfect example. For me, I'm like, oh, I want to buy these beautiful chairs, but I don't want to spend this much money. I've got 3 children that are going to just get their grimy little, stinky little hands on it. But how do you help balance that for clients? Like, are you guys constantly looking at the design trends where you have, oh, look at this restoration hardware chair, and then look at this chair you can get from Walmart,
Yeah, so that kind of goes with our, our vendor network. We do get, amazing prices for that. So I pretty much, sometimes I have people who will come to me and they say, hey, I have a $20,000 budget and I need you to fully furnish most of my home.
Right.
And, our vendor network is phenomenal. So like you just said, we kind of have dupes of things. So like, for example, our house is very well known, same as like Restoration Hardware. And our clients will send us the pictures of what they want from those vendor networks. And then we can pretty much, give them 5 or 6 different options that are a fourth of that price, and are still great quality. I don't think we're really sacrificing too much quality because, it really isn't much more to get something that is just as nice. And,
Yeah. And especially it depends on the stage of your client's life, right? I always say, like, if you're in that kid stage where things are going to get dirty, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm more of, I want to have like a peace of mind with it, knowing I can, it's Scotch guarded, I could just wipe it off. But if I know I spent how much money on something and then they get chocolate all over it, it's like, my heart just wants to just fall in my stomach.
Exactly.
So yeah, it probably depends on the stage of life that your clients are in.
Right. And then, we also have, I always kind of suggest, especially with the kiddos. So we have a vendor, I don't know if you know, have you ever heard of Four Hands? It's here in the Austin area.
Yes. I love going to their warehouses too.
Yeah. So they're one of our main vendors. And they have a lot of options that are actually performance fabric. So, that's kind of always a good option for kiddos.
Yeah.
I always kind of suggest that, and ruggables and things like that to kind of help. So that's like another good point, is like getting to know the clients, especially whenever we're doing our like redesign walkthroughs and things. We always ask those questions like, yes, do you like this? It's beautiful, but is this going to be practical for your everyday living? With kids, with dogs, things like that. We definitely want to make sure that they're being realistic about the expectations of, what furniture pieces they could buy, but we can always, lighten it up. Like if they like a more light and airy feel, but they want a darker couch, we lighten it up with pillows and rugs and wall colors and things like that to kind of help give them that same aesthetic.
Well, I know you've said that you guys have consistently been able to maintain staging anywhere from 60 to 70 homes at the same time, and you'll have a quick turnaround. What are some of the operational practices you have in place to be able to support scalability without compromising, the quality of your service or your products?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, our movers, they take really great care of our items. So that's one thing, is just, kind of slowing down when it comes to like loading our trucks and packing our buckets and things like that. Things not getting broken is our number one thing, because, we just don't have time to really go shop and do all those things constantly anymore. But also with the quality of items, we're buying some of the most highest end things to put in these homes. And, our turnover is pretty great because we are selling homes really quickly. So, we're kind of putting things out and getting them back quick, putting them out, taking them back. So it kind of helps with our inventory flow. But again, we never really say no to anything because we can get stuff so quickly and so affordably.
Yeah. And that's, I think, one of the most important parts is y'all's vendor relation and your network, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Is it hard to select products that align with both your design goals and client budgets? Because I feel like that would take a lot of time to do that research and navigate which places do we go? I mean, because there has to be at some point where the product was affordable, it's no longer affordable. So now you have to kind of go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and it also depends on the type of home we're staging. So if we do have a lower end, lower budget home, we're still producing a pretty high quality, because it's also about inventory and furniture planning and all the logistics of, hey, we have a pickup on Monday, we have this stage and this stage this week. How are we going to best take the furniture that's from this house and put it into these homes, as well as whatever else is in our warehouse and in our inventory? We haven't really had a problem with being able to, sacrifice quality lately, because our vendors are just so good. I mean, they are just so good.
Well, I think one of the biggest questions too is, I know you said you have about 14 employees across both offices in Houston and Austin, but how do you, I guess I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, but when you have a client, you go into a home and whoever is walking through the property, whether is it always you, or do you have another lead designer or another designer that's below you that goes through and says, wow, this is definitely a mid-century modern vibe, or this is more of a transitional vibe or contemporary. Because I feel like that's been some of the issues that us as real estate agents have felt is, whoa, the products do not match the style of the home. Or, they got it wrong with the style,
I
right?
see. Yeah.
So I'm just curious of what is your prerequisite for your designers to go in to say, oh, they know what they're talking about. They can kind of get the vibe of the home to put the right furniture to match the aesthetic.
Yeah, I think a lot of reasons other staging companies do have that problem is because they do have limited access to inventory and they're just kind of making work with what they have, which we have definitely been in that position long ago. So I understand that. But as we have grown, again, our inventory has grown. So we definitely have more options when it comes to like the style of the home. And, me and my designers are really good at, whenever we're walking to the home, what are we feeling? What do we want this home to feel? I had a stage I did a few months back and we walked in and it was, cobblestone everywhere and it was just very dark, but it kind of gave me like a Santa Fe vibe. And so I asked the realtor, I'm like, hey, are you okay with me kind of going Santa Fe vibes in this house? Because it's just what I felt like it needed. And it was probably one of my favorite stages I've ever done. So I've kind of gotten into more of like theme stages lately of just like, hey, like this home feels more Colorado vibe, or this home, is downtown Austin, the downtown dream. We had a home that was kind of beachy. So we went with more of it was called the Pearl. It was a model home and we went more with like a beach Pearl vibe. So, that's another great thing about us is we are very custom to what our agents want and what we think that the home needs and what it's best going to showcase.
So that's probably goes straight hand in hand if y'all source any sort of eco-friendly or sustainable products into a specific home that might have a rainwater collection system or something that goes with that vibe. So you guys are because my question was, do y'all have any design backgrounds, or did you study, interior design in college? What kind of gives that prerequisite for someone to come in and give their, opinion on how it should be? I think a lot of the time, even as realtors, we have to have some sort of design, knowledge in order to walk into a house and say, yeah, we got to change this out, countertop, whatever it might be. So I know we talked about the next steps kind of for sustainable redesign of what you are hoping to grow. But what do you see? Do you see you guys expanding to Dallas? Do you see you expanding to other markets in the next 5 years? Let's give it a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
What are you hoping outside of growing, your Airbnb market, like you mentioned? Is there anything else that you see on the horizon for Sensible Redesign?
Yeah. As far as expanding other places, as of now, that's kind of a no. We're kind of just trying to manage our 2 places at the moment because we are just growing so rapidly. So that comes with, having to put new systems in place, organization things. And then as far as more growth,
do y'all see yourself doing
more like
more
Austin?
Right. I'm saying you need to get Austin to be a little bit more.
Yeah. Cause Houston's definitely there. Like they have their systems in place. I've only been working here now for 2 years. So I'm coming on 3, but it's kind of grown so quickly that it's...
Yeah. Are you guys hoping to maybe even come in when you said, I know that you had talked about remodels, but coming in and doing even smaller projects like hey, look, they want to add shelving and add some lighting here or this or that, to where you can come in and almost have a full service interior design and staging business, right? Because I feel like y'all don't do as much interior design,
Right.
Outside of giving your opinions, paint colors, this and that.
Yeah, so we'd definitely be more interested in doing like the remodel aspect of things. But as far as like true like structures and building, as of now, I feel like that's more in the Houston area versus in the Austin right at this moment. But
Yeah. Well, what do you want people to know about Sensible Redesign, especially here in the Austin area, that, how they can reach out to you, how they can find you? Let's tell people of how, if they are interested in selling their home and want to get it staged or have a vacation rental, how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, so they can either inquire on our website. We have somewhere where they can sign up for an appointment, or they can, directly just call me or email me as well. I do kind of run most of the scheduling here in the Austin branch. We do have another designer here as well as 2 assistants, and then we have a full moving crew.
And the website is?
It's sensible.com.
Yeah, sensible.com.
It's sensible.com.
Yes. And they're very easy to find on Google and whatnot, and Instagram.
Yes.
And you can see some of their projects on there. So, but I mean, I just think from an operational standpoint, from a strategic vision standpoint, and from just the services you offer, I think you guys are a full turnkey staging design company. I think it's really impressive. And I think you're one of the only companies that I've known that can come in and say, hey, you need to change the paint color, and here it is. Because a lot of the time it falls on us to say, hey, I think you should paint the wall.
Exactly.
But sometimes if they hear it from us and then the client hears it from somebody who is essentially a professional in that space, it really helps. But it's nice for you to say, I've got a guy, I'll schedule him, he'll come, and then we'll stage the next day.
Yeah.
So I just think y'all have really created an incredible company. Hats off to your mom, sister, and of course you for now kind of taking over the Austin area. So yeah, I'm really, really glad you sat down with us today and to talk a little bit about Sensible Redesign, and I wish you guys the absolute best here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, of course. And that's all we got. Thanks for listening.